Hi everyone, welcome to the Psych Mom Show. I'm the Psych Mom, Barrie Morganstein. I'm excited to be here with my wonderful special guest who is part of my mom squad, Martha Kinney from the Speech Find. She is a speech and language pathologist. She's going to share some wonderful information with us about articulation and the importance of articulation and how to use literacy to improve articulation. So I'm going to let you go ahead and tell everyone what articulation is. I think everybody knows what it is, they just don't know how the term fits with what it is. So
thanks for having me, Barrie. Articulation is the way we produce sounds in our mouth. It's what you think of when you think of going to speech. It is actually the speech sounds.
Right.
How
to say TH
how to say
or
your
R
TH or R. You know,
right.
the cute wabbit, or
right.
we're going to the wake this weekend instead of the lake. Those are the sort of things we have. And there is a developmental continuum. You do.
Right.
It is very cute when your 4-year-old says wabbit. It's not cute when your 3rd grader says wabbit. So that's the kind of thing we're looking for and why it's so important. It's also very, very important to have correct speech production, because the way you hear a sound affects the way you are going to perceive it when you go to read it or write it. And as you're developing these literacy skills, understanding speech is very important, having those sounds.
So helping children be able to produce the sound accurately helps them also hear the sound accurately. It reinforces their ability to hear it and then to transfer it into kind of reading and writing. And it really kind of pulls both expressive and receptive language all together.
Absolutely.
So talk about how literacy helps improve articulation, so you're not just sitting there with kids going, ruh, ruh, ruh.
Yes. That is a huge challenge of our job, is to make 30 minutes of working on one sound interesting.
Right.
And flipping a bunch of cards is not going to hold kids' attention very, very long at all. What we preach at the Speech Find is really the best therapy tool is one that all families have, and it's stories. If you're working on expressive language, receptive language, no matter what you're working on, if you have a good storybook and you have your story time, that's really what you need. And we use that quite a bit in working with speech sounds. Just brought a book today, Just Me and My Puppy. You could say with your little, well, let's say your little girl needs to work on her puff sounds, needs to get her lips together. We might say, just me and my puppy. Which word in our title has your sound in it? You know, without, you don't even have to be able to read, but can she hear it?
Right.
And you say puppy. I hear a p sound in 2 places. It was at the beginning. Where else is that sound? So that's the kind of thing that you would want to do. Right. And the other great thing,
and that's fun. I mean, that's fun. That back and forth, and you've got pictures and something to look at.
Exactly. And another great thing is, if you could, that's also good for auditory processing. You know, you can just address lots of skills at one time. Is if you give them a sentence and you can work on saying it with expression. Can they sound like how the character would sound?
Right.
One thing, I don't know if you're familiar with the Mo Willems books. There's a bird on your head,
absolutely.
Or you are in a book, the pigeon book.
The pigeon rides the bus.
Right.
Absolutely.
Those are written in speech bubbles, and you can explain what that means and do them like a play.
Oh, that's
and
great.
say, oh, do you think he would say there's a bud on your head? No, he's going to say there's a bird on your head. Let's say it like he would say it. So you can make it a lot of fun.
That is very fun, and that actually is a really great book. I do have some of those pigeon books, and I think my favorite one was maybe on the bus, and so whoever he's talking to is using reverse psychology, and you can hear him change his tone. He's like, okay,
you can explain tone of voice. So even while you're working with this, you're having a mini acting class.
Great.
So it's a great thing to do with
the
your
pigeon
kid.
book is absolutely wonderful.
So.
Well, one of my favorite books, I think not just to read to my daughter, but my own favorite book is There's a Walk-It in My Pocket. And so probably Dr. Seuss books would be really good to use too.
Absolutely.
Is that maybe not as good though? Even though it has the speech sounds, they're not real words. I mean, there are some real words, obviously, but a child isn't going to know what a walk-it is or a zower. Is that still a great book to use, or is that maybe not as good because they're not all real words?
I think that's a great conversation to have. Is there such a thing as a walk-it? What if we put your sound there? You can make it a rhyming task. Ooh, what would be in your pocket? Oh, a rocket in your pocket. So you can use
do
that.
It with anything.
You can do it with anything.
That's wonderful.
So,
That's
and
great.
Just sort of be creative and take it in the way that your child most learns.
That's wonderful. So Mo Willems' books, tell them a couple other books if you can think of off the top of your head that could be really good for parents.
If you give a mouse a cookie, if you give a moose a muffin, there's so much there. Those are always really, 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 really good ones. as a speech therapist, my very favorite is Who Way for Wadney Wat, who does not have his W's and kind of defeats a bully through that. So if you have a kid with an R, find Who Way for Wadney Wat. It's nice to see the hero be the little guy with the bad R.
That's so great.
But really, there's not a better, if your kid's older and reading chapter books, Horrible Harry is fabulous. You can really use whatever they're using.
You can do anything.
Right. Don't make this extra. Use whatever you're using
that's
already.
Great. Thank you so much, Martha. This is really exciting.
Thanks.
I love to hear about how you can learn just through everyday play and experiences and make work fun.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.